Well, the UPS man just came. He brought me a package, and I hope it's my my cylinders that I got. So we're gonna hold it up and see what it looks like then. I'm gonna stop it a little bit. I'm gonna make my my hydrostat work. These two cylinders right here. This is neat here. I like that. How I got a hold of Mr. Collinhart about this cylinder, he was looking at my videos, and he noticed I was looking for help. Somebody, if they knew any kind of way how to make these hydrostat both transmission work in sync. And he gave him to show me this. And he told me the story of two John Deere tractors. He took the front end off of one, and you pigtail off the back just to see if it'll work. And it worked. So I think the reason why he done it, because he had another friend that built him that somebody needed help with John Deere how to do it. So he's the engineer, Mr. Collinhart. But anyway, since this, he decided to build him a tractor. So now he's in the making of building this tractor right here, which will be a 4-wheel drive. That's got a, I think it's a Yamaha 20 horse diesel on it. And it's gonna be a pretty nice tractor. And I'm hoping it'll work. So I got the lines. I went and took my seat pan off. And this is the hydrostat I bought at the Florida Flywheel when I was down there. This is a John Deere. It's no different except this arm here hangs down. And the arm on this one goes up, which is no different. So, and this one, if you stand behind the tractor, this arm here will be on the right hand side on the John Deere. Cub Cadet will be on the left. So I think I'm going to use this. I'm just going to whack out a little piece I need and get my center hole so I can find my 1-inch pivot. All I need is a 1-inch play, back and forth. That's it. And mount the cylinder on the outside right here. Have 2 cylinders on the outside. And I think that'd be the best way to do it. John Deere arm off of this squash plate arm shaft here, lever. But I'm just going to take the diagram on, cut it there and cut it across there and cut it there. Now drill me a hole there. That's roundabout. I hope I can drill through this stuff. That's going to be the next problem, if I can drill to it. If I can't drill to it, I'm going to have to figure a way to get this off to where I'm going to take a carbide bit and drill a hole in it. I had to move this transmission mount. You know, it bolts right here to the rear end. It goes inside and bolts the frame up there like that. Well, this top part would be in the way with this lever I just added. So I had to take it off. I wish that lever was out further, but it is what it is. I gotta get my cylinder right here somewhere, and I'm gonna put, I got a little linkage somewhere that goes on there. I don't know where it is right now, but anyway, right here it is. I like this linkage here because it's adjustable. You can undo these 2 nuts, and you can turn this middle and just linking it or shorten it. So I'm gonna put it in between here, up in there, and over here this thing here, and hooked in between there, so it'll pull it, move that shifter back and forth. That's the plan, but we're working on it. Ain't gonna get done today. It's a Sunday afternoon, probably about 3, 4 o'clock. I doubt it'll get done next weekend. Don't know. I got my 2 fittings on the bottom ready. If I can get it where you can see it. If I can get it where you can see it. I don't know if you can see that or not, because I can't. I got them on there. And so them will run right up on the frame, right up on the articulation, right up here, and then it'll go up under the next frame don't know if you can see that green line down there or not. I doubt it. But there's a green line down there. It's in between this other 3-inch channel frame inside it, run across the front. All right, let me get out of here. Later. Well, what I've done is made me a 1/2-inch pin here and put a snap ring on it. That end, I put a snap ring on that end. So I gotta make one more for this end. Then I gotta make my little gizmo in the middle. I'm gonna change my little gizmo a little different than what you got it. Yours had a little arm hanging down. This won't have an arm. This would be working right off of it. So it'd be working off the back side, coming out with a bolt. It'd be pulling back and forth. I just took this little tube here, got a sharp edge on it. It's a little bit wider than the snout ring. And I just cut me a groove in there. So now my snout ring, the snout ring fits right on there. There we go. Fits right on there. So we got to cut another groove and we have that. We have both pins made. I bought from Mr. Collinhart. It's 2 cylinders. Then this bracket here he had made to hold the cylinders. And this is going to make it reverse and forward. This is the plans he thought up, how it works. If you want to stop the camera and look at that. I mean, stop your video and look at that. That's it right there. But I made this piece here. His piece, he made his with for the John Deere application. He put on one end, he put a little arm hanging down, and that went to his hydrostat right here. See that arm there? Went that arm. See a little hanging down thing? But I'm not gonna have a hanging down thing. It's just gonna come straight right in the middle and go to it. So it just be a 3/8 bolt there with like a towering end on it. Go into there and have a towering end here. It go to there. So in order to get this thing together, I changed up the plan just a little bit. It's the same thing, but it's just a hair different. But just fits in there. Let me get up my light wire and show you. Ah! See that part there? These part right here screw into cylinders, both ends. That screws in the cylinder. Now this slides in here so it can move back and forth on the track. Showing like in the thing there, so it can move back and forth. As you move, when you move this transmission with your foot pedal or with your dash column, it sends power down here and it sends a signal to this cylinder in which it moves out, then moves this cylinder out. When it moves that cylinder out, it mimics, both of them mimics the same thing. When it moves out, it's going to push that lever forward. We'll just say backwards right now because that is always forward. Say if it moves that backwards, it'll send oil down to these 2 cylinders and make this cylinder move back. And these 2 lines here hook to the bottom of this hydrostat, so they'll mimic the same thing. So when it says, okay, move back, this copies the same thing because this one moves the same. So they equal out the pressure, they equal out both hydrostats on the bottom by this moving back and forth. So it's kind of a neat little thing he did. I mean, I would never thought of it in 100 years. But that's what it took, was an engineer. And that's what he is, Mr. Collinhart. He's an engineer. And he come up with this design. And the only thing, like I said, I changed this piece here in the middle. But what I got to do now in order to get it together, I got to take it, put this, you see how the end of that thing is slotted? It's milled on the end, that's milled on the end. Well, I got to turn around and mill it again, the same thing on each end, so I can put a wrench on it so I can turn it. So once I get this all together and this is stuck in that hole there, I could turn it and tighten it into that shaft. So you can get one of them in there. You get the other one there, you just can't turn it because you only got one slot. So we're going to stick it in the milling machine and mill another slot on this for a wrench. You probably wonder why I didn't show this in the making in the milling machine. Well, when I made this, I didn't have my camera. And I wasn't going to wait another day just to get my camera to make this, because I'm trying to get this done by the weekend. So there she is. That's threaded all the way through for the cylinders, and that's threaded damn near through this shaft here. You got to get the right length of bolt to go in there for that part. All this is a nut, big nut. I run out of Loctite, so I went to AutoZone and bought this. This is a red, so it's be fine. So we're going to Loctite. We're going to put in the red shaft first. Put it in. Then we're going to put in the black. Mr. Collinshart, if you notice right here on the end of the cylinder, he cut a little bevel in it. And that bevel is very important to get it together. I'll show you in a minute. I don't really have a tripod. Well, I do have one, but it's outside. Let me go see if I got a tripod in my room in there. We're going to put some Loctite on this red cylinder first, but the black cylinder goes in last. I'm minding on it. Got to cut it off. Oh, we're going to put some Loctite on this one. That's probably too much, but it's on there. I don't want it to come loose, so that's where it's going to be. Tighten it up with a wrench. Alright, that ought not to come loose. Now we got to feed this thing in the cylinder. We just gotta, let's see. Yeah, I gotta go backwards with it. Because that just does fit through there. Now let's get the other one in there. Now like I say, he put a taper right there, you see it? And that is perfect. Well, you got to push this all the way back down first. Push that all the way down and move that pin all the way back. Now you got to go in an angle and stick it in there. Make sure you got that cylinder in. Put it in an angle and stick it in there. There we go. Line it up. So now we'll just take this wrench and tighten it up. There we are, almost about tight. There we go. That's it. Just got to put my pins in it. Put the cap back on this before I lose all of it. Put my snap ring on top of it, won't fall through. Put the snout ring in it. And this one, I ain't gonna find another snout ring for another pin. This ain't the right pin here, but right now we'll go ahead and use it to line it up. Just to line it up. It's not long enough. Alright, well, we're gonna call it for this afternoon. It's getting late already, so I'm going home. This is Thursday afternoon. Hope by Sunday I have this thing, or Saturday I hope I get it running where I can have a demo show how it works. These fitting, I had 90s in here. Now I took these JICs and put them on top. Then I was able to turn this up another way in order to get my hole straightened out. I'll show you in a minute.
I don't know if you can see this, but there's one line there going to the bottom of the hydrostat. There's another line there going to the bottom of the hydrostat. And these lines run all the way around, come out here, and go here, and hook in the front side of this little cylinder. These two cylinders are put together with this block in the middle. These other two lines go right back in the hydrostat just like it did on the other side over there. And you see over here, I have a 3/8 bolt right there. It's where my links are hooked up. There'll be a little slot cut in there somewhere, up in there somewhere, to where this linkage right here, get around when you see it, this linkage right here will fit onto it. The other one goes to the hydrostat. See the linkage right there going to the hydrostat? So this cylinder was set right up here. So I haven't adjusted the air out of the cylinder yet. If you watch that block, it'll work when I move the hydrostat. I gotta get the air out of it. When I let go, it jumps back, it's got air in it. So that tells me it's gonna work. That lever will move my transmission on the back. And all I'm doing is move my hydrostat. Yeah. Just gotta get the air out of it now. So I'm gonna this back. I'm not looking at the back axle all up yet. All I want to do is make sure this works. I'm not even gonna hook that up, them lines yet, until I get them made. So we're gonna bleed them. I'm gonna cut the camera off and bleed them right quick, and I'll get back with you. We'll just put that right up on there and bleed it. Tell them when I do it. When I was bleeding my cylinders, getting air out of it, you notice that thing in the middle was going back and forth. But every time I stopped my hydrostat, it wouldn't line back up. It just maybe kept going on back that way, or kept going back that way. I was like, man, how's this supposed to work? It don't even make sense. So I called Mr. Collinhart and I tell him about it. He says, it's not going to work. He said, up in the air, you got to set that thing on the ground. When you do, the magic will take place. It go to work. And I said, okay, all right. Now, for this part here to swing back and forth, and it'll sit right across here. So let me get my. I figured that would be. You only need a 1-inch stroke, so we're only going back half that's going to there, and half that's going to there. So it should be plenty. I hope it's enough room. Then we're a little bit wider than what the thing is, so that should be my center of the mark there. So that's what we're going to do. And I mounted my cylinder outside the frame. I shoved this all the way forward, but I made this block, and I used this adjustment linking in here. So I made this arm. I made this bolt go in when that linkage is always forward. So that's in forward speed right now, so that should be bottomed out. This cylinder should be bottomed out that way, so there ain't no. These cylinders can have up to 45 PS, not 45, but 4,500 PSI on there of pressure. And if you got these cylinders not bottom out, you might can break the shaft off in the pump, ream the pin off, break the arm. You do a lot of several things. But anyway, that's how we got it. It's adjustable here if you need to adjust it to line it up. I got that, and I got these little diapers, bushes I made to go in between here. I still like 2 more to put on here to go. There's one of them here.
goes up on the bottom right here. I just hadn't done it, drilled and put them in yet. I got them drilled, just got to put the bolts in there. That's all. But we get ready to make this thing a test run. It's already acting like it wants to do something. When I go my pedal forward, this thing travels forward, makes this spin forward. When I do my pedal backwards, this cylinder travels backwards, it makes this go backwards. But right now, according to Mr. Collinhart, it's not going to line back up until it feels pressure on it. So I got to set it on the ground. I'm going to make sure I pull this back into neutral before I start it. Pull this piece into neutral. And just get it all in neutral before I let it down. Then I'm going to take off and see what happens. So let's go. Let me give you a little better shot from the side of the side angle. Let me get you just one dead on it. Then where you see it. Now you might understand more what I did here. When I set this piece on my tractor, that piece spun there for the wheel cover, well, it hits on these cylinders, so I got to cut some of it off before I set it on there. This part right here. See that black piece? I got to cut it off across. I don't know if you can see a red line across there. There's a red line. I got to cut that across there. So let me cut it right quick. Well, that's how much I had to cut off right there. Yeah, it was a little hot, but we cut that all across there and gave us a little nice little slant there. So let's see if we put it on, see if this ain't gonna work. See if this is gonna work and see if